Hello, my friends. This is Jeannie. Welcome to my Demo or Die series. I should say that really slow so that there's no mistaking what I'm saying. Demo a die. Die as in craft die. Paper crafting die cut. A metal die. That's what I'm going to demo for you here today. I have received quite a few requests asking me to demo for you the Santoro London Gorjuss Girls die cuts that were released. So far, Santoro has released 8 standalone die cuts. Standalone meaning they do not work with the stamps. That's important, and you should know that. The dies are not designed to work with the corresponding stamps. I don't know why they did it that way. It makes no sense. It sucks, but that's what they did. These dies are meant to stand alone. So do not buy them if the only reason you want them is because you have a stamp and you want some dies to cut out your stamps. Not gonna happen. They don't work together, my friends. Now, oh boy, I have received some very MacGyver-like suggestions on how you can get them to work together. I have been told that if you heat your stamp, you can stretch it so that it does fit the die, or shrink it so that it does fit the die. And that's insane. I'm not going to risk damaging my stamps to get them to coordinate with these die cuts. The die cuts either do or do not work with a stamp. And in this case, the Santoro London Gorjuss Girls die cuts do not work with their corresponding stamps. So there it is. I put that out there. That being said, they are awesome die cuts. And I am glad I purchased them because you can make the cutest, most adorable little paper dolls that you can use for just about anything. Now, when the dies were first released in 2016, I actually started to demo them. And I got as far as demoing one of the dies for you. And that was the Little Friend die cut set. That's this particular die cut set. And in that video, I showed you 2 ways to cut your paper dolls. The traditional way, where you have the traditional face, and the not so traditional way, where you have the option of using a stamp to stamp more detailed features on the face. So I will link this video down below so you can check that out if this is the die that you are interested in. I'm not going to repeat that one. Okay, so I'll set that one to the side. What I'm going to focus on in this video is the Toadstool die. As I said, there are a total of 8. In 2016, he released The Little Friend, the Scarf, Ladybird, and Toadstool. Those are the 4 that he released in 2016. I already showed you The Little Friend. Next, we're going to do Toadstool. And this is the cutie. She is so cute. Look at her. This is what your final paper doll will look like once you are done cutting and layering all the pieces together. And she is absolutely adorable. This particular stamp set comes with 8 pieces. It also comes with a magnetic sheet that you can store your dies on. And it also comes with some papers. You get 4 sheets of each pattern. And these papers, if you look carefully, you see that? These papers coordinate with her outfit. So you can use these papers to cut out an exact duplicate of her little outfit there if that's what you want to do. Or you can use your own papers. This image right here was on the outside of the packaging. You know that plastic packaging it comes in? What I did was, before I tossed that packaging in the trash, I cut this particular image out, and I keep it with my die cut set so that I have a forever reminder of what the final paper doll should look like. Unfortunately, the stamp sets or the die cut sets do not come with instructions on how to layer them. That's something you have to figure out on your own. Okay, and hopefully this video will make it a little easier in terms of the Toadstool die cut. So this is my final paper doll, and in this case what I did was, as I was layering, I changed the layering process a tiny bit so that I was able to use my own face stamp as opposed to keeping the very traditional face. But for the purposes of today's video, I'm going to show you how to put it together in the traditional way, just the 8 layers, in what order to layer them, and give you some tips and tricks that will make, you know, life a little bit easier in terms of using this die cut. Okay, so this is the final one, and she is absolutely adorable. Now, let's go over the 8 pieces. Okay, and some of these pieces I have laying out are not going to make sense to you until I explain them, so just ignore them for now. This piece right here, this die, is going to cut your base. This right here is your base. That's your base. Well, maybe if I flip her over. There you go. That's your base. This piece should be cut in whatever color you want the flesh tone of your paper doll to be. I'll say it again. This piece, the base piece, should be cut in whatever flesh tone you want your paper doll to be. Because once you layer all of the other pieces on top of it, the only part of this base that you will be able to see at the end are her arms and her legs. So you should be careful and be sure to use whatever flesh tone you want your doll to be when cutting this particular piece. Okay, if you only have white card stock and you want to know, well, where are her arms and where are her legs, what I did was I cut another piece just to show you. And I ignore this top part, that's something different. But you see 2 arms, two legs. So her arms would be here, here, and obviously the legs there. The legs are kind of obvious. The arms are not so easy to see. But if you take your marker, if you're using a Copic or a color pencil, just generally I would say color in this area, and both legs, and you'll hit all of the fleshy parts of this base piece so that you don't have to worry about going in later and coloring in the arms and legs. So the base, using this piece, should be cut in whatever color you want the flesh to be. The next piece to go on top of this, believe it or not, is going to be this part right here, the ruffle. You see that little ruffle on the bottom of her dress? That's the next piece that you're going to adhere on top of this. And that is this teeny tiny little piece right here. And to cut that piece out, this is the die you're going to use. See that? This die cuts the ruffle of her skirt. And the ruffle of the skirt is the first piece that you're going to layer on top of your base. So let's go ahead and do that. In my case, because the only cardstock I have is kind of like this really light beigey color cardstock, and I don't have anything more flesh color, I went in with some Copics and I colored where I think her arms and legs will be. I'm going to adhere this at the bottom here, right there. So let's go ahead and do that. I have this little zig. I think this is zig. Yeah, it's zig. It's a fine tip, like precision point glue pen. I find that these are super, super, super convenient and really easy to work with when dealing with these little intricate tiny pieces. You have a lot more control. So that's what I use. You use whatever adhesive you have. This is the adhesive I have. This is the adhesive I'm going to use. And I'm going to adhere this. Let's get it in frame. I'm going to adhere this right on top and give it a good press. Okay, there we go. So we have her base using this piece. Next, we have her ruffle right there. And I actually took the little extra step of using some Copics to color in a more flesh tone color that I wanted here on the legs and on the arms right here. So then the next piece that you're going to cut is this piece right here. This, believe it or not, is her dress. This is her dress. And this black mark here will make sense in a few minutes. But this is her dress. This is the piece that goes on top like that to create her dress. And now you can better see what I was talking about in terms of her arms and her legs. Now it makes more sense, right? So this is her dress. And the piece that you use to cut this dress is this one right here. So this die cut should be used on whatever pattern paper you want her dress to be, because this is what you finish with. And this is going to be the third piece. All right, the first piece is the base, second piece is the ruffle, third piece that goes is her dress. Okay, now here are a couple of tips and tricks. First, if you are interested in creating a blank canvas that you can use to stamp or draw your own facial features on, this is one of the pieces. This is the piece right here that you're going to alter. Before you adhere this onto this paper doll, what you can do is trim off her head. Yeah, I know it sounds odd. Trim off the head part. So I'm just going to fold this back just to illustrate what I'm talking about. If you lop off the head piece of this dress and you adhere it to your base piece, then now, in addition to seeing her two arms and her two legs, you'll also see her face right there. You see the part of the face that I colored in with Copics right there? You'll see that at the end. And you can go in and either draw in your face or stamp on a face if you want to. Okay, so that's an option for you if you wanted to alter this cut so that you can use your own face stamp as opposed to just sticking with the two little eyes that they give you. Okay, but I'm going to pop her head back up because we're going to put this together in the traditional way. So we have the base piece, we have the ruffle of her skirt, and then we have this, her dress. So let's go ahead and put some glue on here. And then I'll explain to you the next step and why part of the top of this layer is covered in a black marker. Okay. So here we go. I gotta tell you, if you're like, Miss Shaky Hands, like I am, It's also good to work with a liquid adhesive that gives you a little bit of time to move your pieces around in case you don't quite line them up correctly the first time. Yeah, there we go. But I did. I lined it up. Yay. So there we have it. Okay. And that dress piece was created again using this piece right here. So there we go. We have the base, the ruffle, and then this dress piece. Next, we have her face. And here is the die cut that cuts her face. So this should also be cut in the same paper that you use to cut the base. In the same paper, right? Because it's also going to be part of her flesh. You'll see her face when all these are done layered. You'll see her face in this particular die cut. So you want to be sure when you cut this, okay, there it is. When you cut this, there are the two eyes. Cut it in the same color that you cut your base, because this is going to be part of her flesh tone. And to better illustrate it, I took one and I used my Copics to color the areas that you'll actually be able to see once you finish layering them. You see this area where the eyes are and the cheeks? That's the area you're going to see when you're done layering. So that's the piece we're going to put on next. Okay, and to cut this piece, we're using this die cut. That's the face. And because you have these two openings for the eyes, whatever pattern paper is behind this is going to show through the eyes. I obviously don't want her to have eyes that are the same pattern as her dress. So I just took a black marker and colored in a section of the top here, so that when I adhere this on top of it, you don't see the pattern through her eyes. Instead, you'll just see the black. Okay, so there we go. And in terms of coloring, I think this is a great opportunity to color the doll. Add any blush or whatever little specifics you want to add to it before you put on the next layer. That way you don't risk coloring onto the other layers of the stamps. So let's go ahead and put her face on. Look at this. I've had this glue forever. Okay. Ooh, so it is Saturday night here by my neck of the woods. It's raining out. It's raining out. And I love the rain. It sounds so quiet and so peaceful right now. All you hear is the sound of the rain falling against the house. Everyone's asleep here, as usual. I'm up doing some late night crafting, so why not? It's the quiet time, the best time. So we're going to go ahead and layer this on here. Do you see that? How cute is she? She's so cute. I know, I talk to myself a lot. You do too. Come on, you know you do. So there we go. So we have the base, the ruffle, the dress, and now her face. Okay. Next, we are going to put on her hair. And here is her hair right here. And this is the die cut that cuts her hair. So whatever color you want her hair to be, obviously this is the time to pull out that paper, because this is what this particular die cut does. Now here's another tip. You see how this die cut has some embossing details on there? When I cut these on my Cuttlebug, I have the Big Shot, I have the Cuttlebug, and I have the, oh my God, the Gemini. I actually didn't buy the Gemini. I won it, believe it or not. In a giveaway here on YouTube, it was awesome. But that's a different story. I won it. And when I cut on my Gemini, all of these embossing details show up beautifully. When I cut on my Big Shot, sometimes they show, sometimes they don't show. It depends on my stack. Okay. When I use my Cuttlebug, rarely does it show. I don't think that I just don't get enough pressure to show these details. I have tried the standard stack, which is the base plate, the B plate, and the cutting plate. And I've even kind of used some cardstock as a shim to add a bit more pressure, but it just doesn't add enough pressure where I can get these details, these embossing details. But fear not, this is what I do. I leave, once the image is run through the die cut machine, I don't pop the paper out right away. I leave the paper in here. Or even if you take the paper out and you look at it and you don't see your embossing details, pop the paper back in and get something that you can use to apply a little pressure, either a pen cap, or in my case I have these tools on my desk with these little big nubs at the end. You can also use your bone folding tool. And I leave it in there and I run this across, putting pressure, kind of using this as my own embossing tool, making sure to run across the entire die cut with the paper still in it. Hear that? So I basically apply additional pressure, and then voila, you get your embossing images. Your embossing details are right there. See that? And that's just from, like I said, if you pull it out and you don't see the embossing details, put the paper in and just run some additional pressure over it you can use a pen cap, the end of one of your crafting tools. You can use one of your Teflon bone folders, bone creasing tools, whatever they call those things. And you finish with your embossing details. So there you go. That's what I did, because my Cuttlebug was not cutting it. And I didn't want to, I was just too lazy to pull the Gemini out. I know. Oh, I'm a lazy crafter. What can I tell you? So here is her hair. So cute. And we are going to attach it like so. Isn't that adorable? Let's get her hair on. Oh my gosh. You ever have that happen to you when you, like, all of a sudden you forget the name of something? It's like ridiculous. You draw a blank. My gosh. I don't know what that's all about. Too much on the brain. One minute you know something, next minute, poof, it's gone. C'est la vie. You all know what I mean, right? Of course you do. So I'm just going to put some glue on this little doll. And I'm sorry I'm doing that out of frame, but it's just glue. It's just glue. I'm going to use these tiny little tweezers to turn this around. And I'm going to stick it. Stick it. There we go. And because I'm using a liquid glue, I have a few seconds to move this around. There we go. Isn't she a doll? Look at her. So there, now she has her hair, her awesome face, her dress, the ruffles. Okay, so what's the next layer we're going to do? We are going to continue working up here. And so the next layer is going to be her scarf. You see her scarf in this image right here? You see her scarf right there. That's this piece right here. And here is the die that cuts it. This is the die that cuts her scarf. So in whatever pattern you want her scarf to be, this is the die that you're going to use with that paper. And when you cut it, this is what you finish with. This is her scarf. Okay, now her scarf, when it adhered, goes up here. Right there is where we're going to stick it. Yep, so I'm giving her a simple white scarf. It's actually oatmeal color, same color as her ruffles on her dress. So let's go ahead, add some glue. Gosh, I'm actually thinking of filming the rest of these videos this weekend. That way maybe I'll release one this weekend. Maybe I'll release the next one Wednesday, and then the final one for the 2016 stamp die cuts next weekend, and then I can move on to the 2017 die cuts. Or maybe just release them all in one shot. I just don't like to overwhelm anybody's YouTube feed with too many videos. So I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. So, and that's what these little extras up there are. I've been working on all of these dies. The hope is to get these videos done, my friends. I want to share with you all of the knowledge that's stuck in my head. So there's her scarf. She is an absolute doll. Look at her. And you can go in with a Copic marker or whatever marker you have. I think actually I have one here. Yeah, you can go in with whatever Copic marker you want and add, or whatever color medium you have, and just add some details. Like you can add in the stripes. We all know the stripes that we are used to seeing with these girls. There we go. How cute is that? Add some stripes there. Can also add some of the same kind of gray color detail to her little ruffle on the bottom. How cute is she? So there's her scarf, her dress, her ruffles. She's looking so cute. All she needs are her socks, right? And her shoes. So her socks. This is the die that cuts her socks. How cute. Cute little die. So I cut her socks so that they coordinate with her scarf and the ruffle of her dress. And when you adhere these onto her, that's what it'll look like. Okay, so, and again, this is the die right there. So let's go ahead. Let's find that glue. I lost my glue. Okay. Da 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 da. Who knew, right? Almost 30-minute video on how to put together an 8-piece die. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'm talking too much. I don't know. Wow, look at her socks. How cute. And because I already added some gray details on her scarf and her ruffles, I might as well add them on her socks. So I'm going to use that same color I used on her scarf and ruffles to add those signature stripes onto her socks. So there we go. And then finally, the last die, last but not least, are her little shoes. This little die right here cuts her little shoes. And here are, they're so tiny. Here are her little shoes. Look how tiny those shoes are. Itty bitty. Super cute. So let's put some glue. On there. And then our lovely little girl will have her shoes. And there she is. All done. She is the cutest. Cutest. And I cut her little shoes in the same paper that I used to cut her dress. So that is the finished doll, my friends. Here she is with her very traditional look, just layering the die cuts as they were intended, or 8 of them. And then here she is with a tiny bit of altering of the cuts. So the way I was able to do that face is this particular die right here that cuts her dress. Once you cut this out and before you layer it onto the doll, lop the head part. I know it sounds crazy. Lop the head portion off. Okay, and you'll be left with her entire face as one big blank canvas without the 2 little holes for the eyes, and then you can go ahead and stamp your face onto her. So here she is. She is absolutely adorable. I love the way she turned out. So there you have it. 30 whole minutes on how to put together an 8-piece die. But seriously, I just wanted to take my time and explain to you the process, and also give you a couple of little tips and tricks that might help you along the way. So hopefully the videos will get shorter as I make more and more of them. But thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Be on the lookout for the next doll. I am going to do Ladybird. Ladybird. Is she Ladybird? She's Ladybird. And oh yeah. Oh my gosh, no. This is not. Let's correct. Yeah. This one, I think I called it Toadstool. This one is actually the scarf. This is the scarf. That's the one I just showed you. Next, I'm going to show you in a different video. I will show you Ladybird, which is this one, and in yet another video I will show you Toadstool, which is this one. So these are the 2 yet to come, but these are the ones we did today. Yay! How cute are they? Well, there you have it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope to see you again. Until next time, my friends. Bye bye.